Welcome back now to the warning that's been issued to companies using artificial intelligence and super funds with big tech investments. Wait for it. They're told we need AI, we need it to increase productivity, but watch out, it'll increase your emissions, and the enormous amounts of energy required to power AI could be a time bomb for your corporate sustainability strategy. To discuss this and more, my panel, Page Chief Executive Gerald Holland and LNP MP Phil Thompson. Gents, welcome. I tell you what, it's going to be a big issue for these poor old corporates. Climate, productivity, AI and emissions. Perfect storm, Jared.
Peter, it's so frustrating. In a nation where just about every industry is going backwards at the moment, there could seriously be a growth opportunity in embracing AI and embracing these data centres. And now the Australia Institute is coming out and telling us that we can't have them because of emissions. I mean, the truth is businesses are not going to turn away from these kind of productivity tools if it means that they're going to be able to do better. I mean, we've already had 16,000 business insolvencies in the last 2 years alone. So if we aren't doing it here, it means that business is going to go overseas. And what the Australia Institute does point out is this is a really energy-intensive business. The software that we see on our screens we take for granted is produced by a lot of hardware behind the scenes, and that requires energy, more energy by 2030 than the entire Japanese economy just to power these data centres. I think in the US, their petrochemicals, their steel, their cement, all of those energy-intensive industries combined will be less than their data centre electricity requirements. So Australia can embrace this, or we can let it pass us by because of our ideological fixation on these renewable targets.
Yeah, but it's going to force the conversation, Jared, that we need to go to nuclear. That there is no other way. If we want these data centres in Australia, if we want to keep up with the rest of the world, we have to have an adult conversation about nuclear, and they just don't want that conversation. So they're now saying we can't have it in Australia because of emissions. That's the problem, and nuclear is emissions free, as we know. Hey, I thought there was a stake through the heart, Phil Thompson, of Get Up. I thought they'd gone for all money, that they disbanded and morphed into the Teals. But now that Labor's got this big parliamentary majority, they're out there trying to push them well beyond any mandate they might have taken in terms of policies to the election. They've got ads in all the papers. They're saying your mob's out for the next 2 terms at least, and that the Albanese government should go for broke and push on with some really radical change.
Well, I'm here to win the next election. I'm not here to sit in the passenger seat and let Get Up or any other fringe group dictate what the coalition should or shouldn't do. I think that Get Up is about dividing the country. It's not about bringing us together. They're putting ads out. I thought they went away as well, but now they're back. They want to pull the Labor Prime Minister further to the extremes of the left and demand that he does this. And to be honest, his parliament looks like it will drive further to the left. And when you lose, and you lose well, which we did, all these fringe groups come out of the woodwork because they see a payday and they see a time to divide a country, because that's what they're about. They're a divisive organisation. It's in their mandate. But us as the coalition, we need to have sensible policy to be an alternative government, and we'll fight back.
Spot on, Phil. Let's go to Melbourne, because this was really interesting today. Metro Trains, this is the train network that was privatised in Victoria. It's just had a payday of $500 million from taxpayers, because in their contracts, if passenger revenue drops, the poor old taxpayers on the hook to pay them out. Now, the government's spin here, Jared, was that they're still not able to cope or recover from COVID hitting transport flows, but we're 5 years on from COVID. This is because Victoria and elsewhere is still locked into work from home. So if we are not going to change work from home, and most of the public service in Victoria work from home, then the poor old taxpayer will be paying out these foreign-owned private transport companies forever and a day.
Peter, that's right. There is something really fishy about this story. So, as you mentioned, the government's committed to underwriting $500 million over the next 4 years because footfall is so much lower. But these contracts came up for renewal last year, 4 years out from the COVID pandemic, when we were already experiencing this massive drop in traffic. And yet this Chinese majority-owned company was re-signed for another couple of years. And so if you sort of lay it out, you've got Victorian taxpayers across the state are now paying $500 million to a Chinese-owned company for trains in Melbourne that aren't carrying the passengers that they're contracted to carry. It doesn't pass the sniff test. Victoria's heading for $200 billion in debt in the next 5 or 6 years, and I can't see how people continue to wear this.